As we come to the end of December, there's been an announcement that the UK and the EU have agreed a Brexit deal, a trade deal that comes into place at the end of the transition period, which ends on the 31st of December. What this means for landlords is this will be a smoother transition, but not completely bump-free. Okay. Overall, most of the market's reacting quite happily to the deal. Business quite happy that there is a deal in place, although there's a lot of detail to be worked out because this has happened so last minute. The main thing that affects landlords is what's going on with right to rent checks, because up until the last week or so, we've been in the dark as to what would happen with right to rent checks, especially with European or European Economic Area passport holders. Now, what is going to happen, the transition arrangements that are in place at the start of this trade deal is up until June 2021, the existing right to rent arrangements stay in place. So that means as a landlord or your lettings agent on your behalf as part of the referencing process needs to continue to conduct a right to rent check on passport holders who are not from the UK, who are not from the EU or the European Economic Area. Okay, so that means just people from outside the UK or the EU or the EEA at this stage, and that's the status quo up until June of 2021. After that period, the government has announced there will be some new checks that go into place and probably a different scheme for EU citizens who are in the UK, and that will come down to how long they've been in the UK and what the exact view is in terms of rights of settlement and rights to stay in the UK, and how that impacts on ourselves as landlords in terms of whether they can continue tenancies in properties or apply for new tenancies. There will also be a new process for EU citizens or people from the European Economic Area seeking to come to the UK and rent properties from you, probably very similar to the right to rent checks that are in place already for outside the European area. So for the moment, nothing needs to change in terms of policies and practice and how you're managing your portfolio, or if you're using an agent, how they're doing it on your behalf. But bear in mind, the next key date for landlords around right to rent obligations is going to be June 2021, and we would hope that there's legislation published and guidance published for landlords well in advance of that, talking about what type of checks need to be done, who those checks need to be done on, and what the process is well ahead of June 2021.